Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the tier 10 Soviet destroyer, the Khabarovsk, and I'm using these modules and commander skills. Now this is the work in progress version of the Khabarovsk still, which means that I have the heal, which is the new thing. However, I'm still using 1600 HE alpha damage shells. The new one should be 1900, so I should deal slightly more damage. And this is Atlantic, but we're not playing on Bastion, instead it's Domination mode, which is very good. I definitely did not like Bastion mode. So, I spawned near the A side and I went for the A cap, and I got spotted, which probably means there's a destroyer around, and I immediately use speed boost. Oh, it's another Khabarovsk, okay. You're on, let's fight, I have heal, so I like my chances, although if she uses smoke, that's problematic. And it seems that Khabarovsk is using smoke, so that's bad. Or not. Fun and engaging. That Khabarovsk had just a lot of fun. I have 3 shell hits and I have 20,300 damage. Because one of the shells that I fired detonated the enemy Khabarovsk. Yeah, about that RNG. Okay, so there's a Yugumo following up. Let's fight that guy. And go back for another round into the A cap, because I don't have smokescreen. It's very difficult for me to try to help with capping, so I need to be more defensive. I need to utilize islands to try to not be spotted. And you know, I need to make more strategic decisions whether I should or should not even fire my guns. So my plan here is to go into the A cap a little bit and start turning around again, because I don't really want to go too far towards them, because I would obviously eventually be spotted. Yeah, I got spotted just now. So I fired my torpedoes on... Yeah, never mind. I wanted to say that I fired my torpedoes on a path on this Kutuzov, but she's just running away. There is no way those torpedoes will hit her. But she's running away, which is fairly good for me, since it enables me to get an assist on this cap zone. And now it seems there is Montana and Kurfürst coming in, so I pick the Kurfürst as the target and turn around again to go closer and utilize my speed and maneuverability to try to dodge as many shells as I can once they start firing at me. Which they currently are not, because I am fairly far away and it gets quite difficult to hit them. But I'll be heading closer and eventually they will probably try to hit me. And obviously I will try to bank on my ability to set fires and some alpha damage to deal a lot of damage to these battleships. Now, in the current situation it actually seems like the enemy battleships are not going to be aggressive into the A cap. I imagine if they still had the Khabarovsk, they would have been. But then again, if you look at the minimap, you'll actually see that this is an Udaloy, Yugumo, Khabarovsk, and a cruiser that I did not catch the name of. Well, it was a Mogami, not anymore though, so right now there are only 3 destroyers in this cap zone, and the enemy team has a Montana, Kurfürst, Kutuzov, and some destroyer that I also forgot the name of. We do have a battleship that is behind the A cap, but I'm not quite certain how much she is helping us, considering how far away she is. So the Montana is firing, and I obviously dodge. So I'll explain how I do the dodging thing, because if you look at the entire match, you'll see that I do a lot of it. Basically, the way it works is I pay a lot of attention to how many ships have me targeted. Right now I have 2, because I have priority targets, so I can tell. And the idea is that I pay attention to some of the ships that have me targeted, and what I do is, once they fire their guns while they're aiming at me, I will change the way my ship is moving forwards. I say change because it doesn't necessarily mean I will turn to dodge or anything like that. The way it works is that if I am going slowly, I will accelerate and turn. If I am going in a straight line, I will start a turn and maybe slow down or maybe speed up. If I am turning and they fire their guns, then I will go in a straight line. Basically, the idea is to do something different than what you were doing at the time that they fired their guns, because the way the game works is that the game will assist with your aiming, because otherwise it would be incredibly difficult to hit pretty much anything past 10 kilometers, even a battleship, as something like a cruiser or destroyer. So how the game works is that the moment you fire your guns, the game does some prediction on where your ship is going to be, and then, you know, more or less helps your shells to be on the path of the, you know, where the ship would eventually end up being. However, the thing with Soviet destroyers is that they are so fast and so maneuverable that if you are at a fairly long distance, like 11-10 kilometers or more, your ship is able to react in a way where the prediction that the game made when they fired their shells will be off from the position that you will be in if you change, you know, your movement. Which is why that Montana has a really hard time trying to hit me, because I keep changing, you know, where I would be. And this is essentially the type of dodging. Like, you don't want to do random movements, you want to start changing the movement when they fire. Of course, when you are targeted by multiple ships, it gets much more difficult, because, you know, you can't really react to all of them, because you can't really pay attention to all of them, etc. Also, I would like to mention that so far I haven't really had much use for this heal. However, if you think about it, in this current scenario, at least so far, in my opinion, heal has been more useful than smoke would be. Because the enemy team has been running away, right? And it's very difficult to chase somebody while you're sitting in a smoke screen, or to utilize a smoke screen while the enemies are running away. But with heal, you know, I can still use it if I do get hit, which I really have not been getting hit so far, but still, it's more useful in my opinion, because I can continue chasing. Also, if you notice, I tried setting fires that would stick on the Montana and then switch to the Kurfürst, because if you have, you know, if you already have like 1 or 2 fires on a ship going that they cannot damage control party immediately, then you might as well switch targets to try to set more fires on another target, like this Kurfürst just repair their fires, and so that this Montana, or the fires maybe ran out on the Montana. So what I want to do now is I want to set a fire on the Kurfürst. I switched targets for a while though, because the Kurfürst used her damage control party, and on a German battleship it lasts for 15 seconds. So for 15 seconds any fires you set will also be immediately repaired, so there would be no point in that. Which is why I, you know, shot a few shots on another target and then switched back to the Kurfürst, and I got a fire, which should stick. And now I'm switching back to the Montana again, because I want to get fires, because this Montana is very low and it would be useful if it could take her out. So look, she fired her guns and I started turning immediately when she did fire her guns. And priority target is very useful for this, because I can tell, you know, if there are other ships targeting me. And the other nice thing is that if I notice that nobody is targeting at me, I can, you know, show my broadside with impunity. I don't need to care about whether, you know, they might shoot at me, because I will be able to tell when they target me. So the Montana went down, and I think I should start changing my angle. Right now I'm heading more or less parallel with the horizontal lines on the minimap, but I want to turn around, and I would need to turn my back guns for that. At least eventually I should do that, because it seems the enemies are heading more towards the B side. Okay, so now I need to just sit and try to get more fires going on this Kurfürst. Excellent. And I'm gonna start turning now, and I will turn my back guns around. So for a while I will only be using my front guns, I suppose. And again, I'll try to maintain my distance. Like, look at, they're not even aiming at me, because I bet they have really kind of given up on trying to hit me. Because, you know, it really didn't work. Actually, they probably gave up a lot earlier. Because as you saw, they just didn't hit me for any kind of significant damage. Also, by the way, if you notice the minimap for this match, it ended up being that 3 destroyers in the A-cap chased off a Montana, a Kurfürst, a Kutuzov, and 1 other destroyer. 3 destroyers alone. Quite crazy if you think about it. Okay, so yeah, I think the Kurfürst is a good target here. If I can get more fires going, that should be very good. And oh, that's another fire. It would be nice if I could get the fire on the second slot. It seems that I am hitting the 3rd and 4th section with the fires in the current position. And it would be very good if I could get the 4th one. Sorry, in the 2nd slot for a 3rd fire. Oh, and she's actually turning, so that means she is showing broadside. This should make it slightly easier to hit the 2nd section for me. And okay, two ships are targeting me. I think one of them is the Kurfürst, so once she fires her guns, I will start turning. And the cruiser also went down. Okay, I was hit by the other battleship, so once the Kurfürst fired, I started turning, and as you saw, none of the shells from the Kurfürst hit me. But the Amagi did hit me though, but that's because I didn't actually try to dodge at all. Torpedoes incoming, but those should be fine. And more fires going on the Kurfürst. Okay, so she damage control partied right now. So for 15 seconds no fires will stick, and I'll keep shooting at her because I would like to take her out and then swap to the Yamagi. Secondaries. I'm actually in the secondary range, although secondaries might be firing at the Yuguma. I'm sorry, Yuguma, for ramming you for a while. Okay, no, actually the secondaries seem to be on me instead of the Yuguma. That's alright though. She is at 8 kilometers, so if she fires again, those might actually hit, but she should go down. Okay, she went down, excellent. So there's only one DD and the Amagi left, and I don't think I will ever be able to hit that DD in this game, so I will focus on the Yamagi. So I turn my ship around again to go more or less parallel with the horizontal lines, so I need my back guns to turn again, and then I'll just keep shooting at the Yamagi for some more delicious fires. This game I've had quite a lot of barbecue, I think. I mean, I have 19 fires, and believe me, most of this damage in this game has been from fires so far, so that's some delicious barbecue. It went rather well, but if you actually think about it, look at where I have actually sailed, and this is a Khabarovsk with a speed flag, and I've used 3 speed boosts this far. And I haven't even got from the A cap to the C cap. Like, if I went in a straight line, I still would not be there. Quite crazy. I mean, sorry, when I say straight line, I mean, you know, obviously I didn't go in a completely straight line, but if my objective was to get to the C cap and I did the same dodging, I still would not have arrived at the C cap. And the game has been going on for 14 minutes. This map is huge, but that's because of the diagonal placement of the islands and caps. And that's the Yamagi down, and the game is over. Quite incredible. Like, this kind of fire was just nuts, and the fact that I could dodge so much. And I still think that in this current match, actually, heal was better than smoke. And, you know, I had heal, but I didn't really need it. So, 524,000 credits, 5,800 experience, 254,000 damage, 525 shell hits, 2 ships destroyed, and 20 fires. And 1 assisted capture. So, team score, 2,573 base experience. A very strong result, and as you can see, the Khabarovsk on the enemy team that got fun and engaging gameplay was the last one. And this is the damage done. Jesus Christ. 165,000 fire damage. If I had 15,000 more fire damage, that would be 3 Witherers. By the way, the reason you didn't see any medals is because it's a test ship, and test ships don't get any medals. Look at that, 165,000 fire damage in a 13-minute game. Also 2.3 million potential damage taken. So if I had the 1900 HE damage shells, I would have done actually slightly more damage, or likely done slightly more damage from the main batteries, but not that much. But still, 2.3 million potential damage taken, and all I did take is 7,000 damage. And I did a lot of damage on these battleships. These fires were out of control. Quite literally. And this is the credits and XP, 300,000 credits profit, but then again I had an amazing game. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then like it. If not, then dislike it. And I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Duncan. And I hope I see you guys next time.